6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Danishka Mandawala and read by J. Yogaraj. First headlines. The President stressed the importance of Sri Lankan universities being world-class and acknowledged the challenge of balancing financial considerations with the goal of providing quality education. Budget debate to continue in Parliament today. The Media Minister stressed that addressing the prevailing crisis of the country requires an exclusive focus on economic solutions. 2,500 million rupees allocated to turn agricultural centres into agro-technical hubs. Meetings in Sydney to promote Sri Lanka-Australia links. News overseas, Biden and Xi Jinping pledged to ease tensions at high-stakes California summit. In sports, India qualified for the finals of the ICC Cricket World Cup 2023. South Africa will take on the five-time world champions Australia today. And those are the headlines. President Ranil Wickremesinghe addressing the Budget 2024 forum under the theme A Tightrope Walk, organized by Colombo University MBA Alumni Association, stressed the importance of Sri Lankan universities being world-class and acknowledged the challenge of balancing financial considerations with the goal of providing quality education. He presented a broad perspective on the budget, drawing inspiration from President Roosevelt's New Deal approach, emphasizing the need for a comprehensive strategy beyond a traditional budget. The President, in his capacity as a finance minister, highlighted efforts to stabilize and reconstruct the economy, including negotiations with IMF and bilateral discussions, aiming for positive results in December. Delivering the keynote address at this event held at the Shangri-La Hotel in Colombo, the President defended the budget as more focused on building a new economy that benefits the people rather than being labelled as an election budget. He discussed pay increases for government servants, adjustments in the private sector, and increased expenditure on social programs like Samruddhi and support for SMEs. He underscored the importance of paying for quality government services while ensuring assistance for those who cannot afford it. President Wickremesinghe revealed a significant threefold increase in Aswesama benefits in the budget as a part of a new social construct. He also acknowledged the extensive nature of the country's current crisis, adding that it surpasses the government's capacity to address it within a single budget. He stressed the importance of adaptation, highlighting the necessity for embracing change, and emphasized that this commitment to change in the direction of the government is currently heading. The second reading debate of Budget 2024 is expected to continue for the third consecutive day today. The debate will continue for 7 days till November 21st. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Minister of Transport, Highways and Mass Media, Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, emphasized that addressing the prevailing crisis of the country requires an exclusive focus on economic solutions, highlighting the inadequacy of political measures in this context. The minister further highlighted that once the International Monetary Fund issues the second loan installment, it will pave way for the resumption of all stalled or suspended development projects. Minister of Transport, Highways and Mass Media, Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, conveyed this information during his participation in a media briefing held at the Presidential Media Centre yesterday under the theme Collective Path to a Stable Country. Minister Gunawardena, in his extended remarks, characterized this year's budget presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe as historic, radical and revolutionary. He highlighted its significance as the first budget unveiled following the official declaration of the country's bankruptcy last year. The minister underscored that the state budget's current account deficit and the international balance of payments current account deficit were pivotal factors leading to the country's financial crisis. He further revealed that the failure to meet International Monetary Fund criteria during the respective periods as a contributing factor to the current crisis. Agriculture and Plantation Industries Minister Mahinda Amaraveera advised officials to implement the the President's proposal to turn all agricultural development centres into technical hubs. It was announced in the budget proposals presented on Monday by President Ranil Wickremesinghe that steps will be taken to turn all agricultural centres of our country into agro-technical hubs. An amount of 2,500 million rupees was allocated to the Agricultural Development Department for these activities. Accordingly, Minister Amaraveera on Tuesday advised Agricultural Development Department's Commissioner General HMAL Abhiratna while addressing a discussion at the Agriculture Ministry on Tuesday. The main problem faced by the farmers in the preparation of the land for cultivation and other agricultural activities is the increase in expenses. In order to control these expenses, it was discussed that every agrarian service centre should establish a mechanical unit and the services of multi-purpose tractors required for land preparation should be provided at a concessional price. Sri Lanka High Commissioner in Australia, Chitrangani Wagishwara, paid an official call on the Minister for Multiculturalism, Small Business, Lands and Property and Sports of New South Wales, Steve Camper, recently. The minister spoke of the large number of Sri Lankan expatriates who have made their mark in New South Wales and noted that the most of Sri Lankans are very well educated and well integrated into this Australian society. The minister has been closely involved with most of the activities which are organised by Sri Lankan associations in Sydney. The High Commissioner stated that she was pleased to note the encouraging sentiments expressed by the minister. The two sides discussed venues for further cooperation and the need for the state government's assistance in promoting links between Australia and Sri Lanka, especially in the trade sector. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatma.
The examination department is confident that it will be possible to release the Grade 5 scholarship examination results this weekend. The department had promised to release the results in 45 days. Examinations Commissioner General Amit Jayasundara said that the results related to the examination have already been computerized and the final stage of the progress is being carried out. The scholarship exam for 2023 was held on October 15th and 337,591 students appeared for this examination, which was held in 2,888 centers.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatma.
In Watchlight, the Maliga Kanda magistrate Loshana Abe Vikrama yesterday ordered the arrest of all responsible officials of the Health Ministry, regardless of their rank, who were deviating from the regular procedures of the government in connection with the importation of the substandard hemoglobin injection vials. The magistrate issued this order while ordering that Janaka Fernando, the owner of the company which allegedly imported the vaccines in question, who was arrested and remanded in connection with the incident, he be remanded until November 29th. And that was Watchlight. And moving on to world news headlines, Biden and Xi Jinping pledged to ease tensions at high-stakes California summit. Israel says the military operation continues at Gaza's main hospital. Plane forced to return to airport after horse escapes crate. And those are the headlines of the world news. U.S. President Joe Biden and China's President Xi Jinping pledged to ease tensions as the pair met for the high-stakes summit in California. The talks at the historic estate near San Francisco on Wednesday marked the first time the rival leaders had spoken in person in more than a year. Trade, climate and military activity were all expected to be discussed. Relations deteriorated in February when a suspected Chinese spy balloon was shot down over U.S. airspace. And they were also tested by a visit last year to Taiwan by former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, which led China to stop military-to-military communication with U.S. The Israeli military has published a video which has not been independently verified, which it says shows Hamas weapons and equipment found in Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital. Israel's army mounted an operation overnight at Gaza's main hospital in what it described as a targeted operation against Hamas. Israel accuses Hamas of running a command center in tunnels under the hospital, and the US says it has intelligence that supports this. Hamas denies this and says the raid on the hospital is a war crime. A Boeing 747 cargo jet has been forced to turn around after a horse escaped from its stall and caused chaos as the plane cruised at 30,000 feet. The plane was headed to Belgium from New York but did a U-turn roughly 90 minutes after its departure when the animal got loose. The pilot flying Atlanta Flight 4592 told air traffic control the plane was fine, but the horse on the loose was the concern. So that's world news. Development news. U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chung inaugurated a new American Innovation Hub in Batticaloa yesterday, with the Governor of the Eastern Province, Sendil Tondaman, participating as a special guest. A joint initiative between the U.S. Embassy and Dreamspace Academy, the iHub in Batticaloa aims to empower the youth of Eastern Province, foster knowledge exchange and promote people-to-people ties between the United States and Sri Lanka. And that came to you in Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
In sports, Virat Kohli notched his 50th ODI century, while Shreyas Iyer played a good supporting role with 105 as India set a challenging total of 397 for 4 wickets in 50 overs in the first World Cup semi-final against New Zealand at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai yesterday. Skipper Rohit Sharma's decision to bat after winning the toss first paid off, won the toss and executing their plan well to reach the total of 397 for a loss of only 4 wickets in their allowed 50 overs. The innings featured impressive centuries by Kohli and Iyer, showcasing a superb batting display that came close to touching the 400-run mark. In reply, New Zealand were all out for 327 in 48.5 overs. South Africa will take on the 5-time World Cup champion Australia today at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata from 2 p.m. onwards. The Proteas, led by Temba Beuma, have been one of the strongest contenders after the home team to lift the title, claiming 7 wins in this tournament, with only losses against India and, surprisingly, the Netherlands, a major upset. And that was sports news.
Go ekatiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu veena habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Russian diamonds set for ban under new EU sanctions. Russia is the biggest producer of rough diamonds cut from hundreds of mines beneath the Siberian permafrost, where a third of the world's diamond supply comes from. And now the European Commission has proposed extending to diamonds a series of sanctions imposed on Russia since its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekatiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu veena habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, Agriculture and Plantation Industries Minister Mahinda Amaravira advised officials to implement the President's proposal to turn all agricultural development centres into technical hubs. It was announced in the budget proposals presented on Monday by President Ranil Wickremesinghe that steps will be taken to turn all the agricultural centres of our country into agro-technical hubs. An amount of 2,500 million rupees was allocated to the Agricultural Development Department for these activities. And that was economic news. Weather report. The Met Department says the showers or thunder showers will occur at times in northern, north central and eastern provinces. Fairly heavy showers, about 50 millimeters, are likely at some places in northern province. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in Uva and central provinces after 2 p.m. today. Several swells or showers may occur in northwestern, western, Sabrakamu and southern provinces. And that was the weather report. To wind up this news podcast, let's look at the main points once again. The President stressed the importance of Sri Lankan universities being world-class and acknowledged the challenge of balancing financial considerations with the goal of providing quality education. Budget debate to continue in Parliament today. The mass media minister stressed that addressing the prevailing crisis of the country requires an exclusive focus on economic solutions. 2,500 million rupees allocated to turn agriculture centres into agro-technical hubs. Meetings in Sydney to promote Sri Lanka-Australia links. News overseas, Joe Biden and Xi Jinping pledged to ease tensions at high-stakes California summit. In sports, India qualified for the finals of the ICC Cricket World Cup 2023. South Africa will take on the 5-time world champion Australia today. And with that, we conclude this morning news podcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Back to Geetanjali Ramanayaka to keep you company with the rest of the programs this Thursday morning.